Manjeer has been extensively working in the developmental sector for the last 10 years and has presented papers in various national and international forums. She is associated with ARPAN for the last 5 years and is currently its Director of Services. She leads prevention, healing and the R&D team and is committed to achieve the goal of holistic response to child sexual abuse. Manjeer is going to talk about the ARPAN's recent book, documentation, Rescue and Remedy, a journey of psychotherapeutic work with children in institutions. We welcome you, Manjeer.
Today's presentation is a very brief 15 minutes presentation, and I'm not sure whether I'll be able to do justice to the book that we have come up with. But what I'll try and do is to give you a glimpse of the journey that we took on to evolve the book Rescue and Remedy, which deals with psychotherapeutic work with children in institutions. The book is based on ARPAN's work with Advait Foundation, which is an institution in Versailles, which houses rescued minors. The work started in 2008, and it has been last 6 years that we have been working with the institute. When we started on with Advait, it was already in its 5th year of existence. It was a home which was very well run administratively, and it has been able to handle its challenges around settling down issues. However, what it was struggling with was issues around children's outbursts, attachment cries, interpersonal relationships, suicidal ideations. And it was at this juncture that ARPAN stepped in and tried to kind of evolve a model of psychotherapeutic work in institutions. To be very honest, at that time, there was no blueprint. Nobody was sure what this work would take us to, whether we would succeed or not, what will work, what will not work. The process has been really organic. And today we have been counseling 65 adolescent girls in the last 6 years. All these children, when they came to the institution, showed all symptoms of trauma that was mentioned so eloquently by Dr. Raute, and I'm not going to repeat all of those. And it was a situation where the children looked disciplined, but they had a mask. And it was in that kind of a situation that therapy process started. And it started with group sessions. It evolved into taking individual therapy with children as the need came in, alongside working with the caretakers on building the capacities, and also evolving organizational policies which are conducive to trauma work. The group sessions focused mainly on 3 critical areas of psychoeducation, skill development, and need-based intervention. In the initial years, the group session focused on day-to-day challenges of settling down, just making the children settle down in an environment which was completely different from an environment from where they came in. The discipline, the time schedule, so many children in one home, limited resources, relationship with adult caretakers, it was all about that. Sequentially, as the years passed on and children settled down, the group sessions became a rich platform to discuss around more critical issues around gender, sexuality, power, and relationship. Individual therapy started with the need to work with children, their behaviors, feelings, and thoughts through challenging and very influential memories, which had to be handled in very safe, caring, and confident environment. Attachment theory and EMDR, as mentioned by Dr. Raute, was 2 very critical tools that got used while doing individual therapy in the process. What we have stayed back with in the process of documenting that entire process is the journeys that the clients made, their articulation of what therapy meant for them, their dreams and aspirations, and as I think all of you have been saying since yesterday, their urge and yearning to be the agent of change in somebody else's life. Therapy went beyond just reduction of symptoms. The changes that we saw in those clients were unthinkable of from the situations that they came in. Somebody pursued higher education, some people got into jobs, some people got settled down. There were some children who were assertive enough to tell their parents that we are not going back to our unsafe homes and we want to live in an institution even if we are 18. There were others who were articulate enough to tell their boyfriends that they're not going to get married just because they're 18, and they would really appreciate if their boyfriends also come for therapy, because they could sense that they also have some issues which need to be settled down. There were others who was thinking that it was their responsibility as children to take care of the parents and not other way around. And they were in guilt because they were in an institution and was not being able to provide that economic support to the family. They understood they were just falling prey to over-responsibility, a very key symptom of trauma. Some of these children became the advocate of organizational policies around keeping children safe. And these were the same children who were resistant to the idea when the organization brought in a policy that children can only meet safe adults. But when it was brought up that if unsafe adults, especially adults like stepfathers and fathers who have been abusers, come and meet children, children will be flooded with conflicting emotions. One part of the child will get loved by the father that's now coming in, and the other part of the child will resist the father for the abusive experience. And in each one of us, the need for love being much stronger than the need for the help, the hate, the child will definitely start idealizing the abusive person and finding the fault of the abuse in himself or herself. What therapy meant also was for these children not taking these informations and these skills and these movements restricted to them. There were children who told me that in a weekly call to their family, wherever they had a younger sister, they would read out from their journals because they wanted to share what they learned with their sisters so that they don't face the unsafe homes in the way that they faced. And they have the skills, even if they're not here, to kind of combat them. What therapy meant for children was an understanding of themselves as individuals and not as damaged goods. It helped them to understand and articulate difficult emotions in a very assertive manner, seek help without feeling bad about it. It helped them to understand and distinguish safe and unsafe relationships. More than anything else, it gave them a lot of hope that life can change. And if I don't bring some of those voices to you, I would not be able to do justice. So I'll just read one of the voices that has left a huge imprint on me as an individual. Earlier she laughs. When I was sad, I did not understand. I did not understand what I am going through. I used to run away from my feelings. I used to fight with people, get irritated at the slightest things, did not speak to anyone. When I was angry, I used to harm myself. I have done that often. I have even tried to commit suicide by turning on the gas. I did not want to stay in this place. I was so angry, I was to blame myself. I used to ask, why did it happen to me? But nowadays, I don't do all of this. Sometimes thoughts do come, but then I talk to myself. I listen to music. I dance. It's my passion. I write journal. And all of this somehow settle me. Before counseling, if someone was angry with me, I would always be angry with that person. Now I know. If she's angry, there is a reason behind it. So if now somebody is angry, I understand that it's very human because all human beings have feelings. I have fallen down many times. I have stood up as well. There are many girls in my situations who think there is no way out and they commit suicide. I think even God gives us many chances. At times I think I am a girl coming from slum, and today I'm working with an organization. Sometimes I ask myself, is it a dream? Has some angel come in and changed my life with this swipe of a wand? But at other times I know I have been witness to this change. I can't tell you exactly when the change started, but with each day I became anew. With each mistake I learned something new. I have contributed some have been contributed by adults around me. This made me realize that every individual has the ability in them to recreate and reshape their life. This life-changing changes wouldn't also have been possible without a parallel work with caretakers. Because as all of us know, to create a trauma-informed service, to create an environment which is trauma-free, it's equally important to work with children and adults parallelly. Today, at the end of having a document in hand, what we have is a model which gives us some direction to work with children in institutions. It gives us a script of doing group sessions and individual therapy. It talks to us about how organizational policies can be created, which is more trauma-informed. But more than anything, what it does is it gives us a boatload of hope that change is possible. And it tells us that there are limitations, there are bottlenecks that need to be addressed, but we need to hold on. As in trauma work, slow is fast. It also tells us to have faith in children's resilience. Because if they have the courage to survive through the most gruesome abusive experiences, they have more than enough resources in hand to survive and to flare a life and come out of the symptoms that those abuse bring it to them.